The solar system, home to the sun, the 8 planets, and a great number of moons, dwarf planets, asteroids, and anything else that rotates around or orbits the sun. Today I'll be focusing primarily on the 8 planets, but I'll also give you some information on the sun and the asteroids just to fill in the gaps. Make sure to take plenty of notes because we'll be using them tomorrow in class for an assignment. Now, if we're all ready, let's begin. The Sun. The Sun is a medium-sized yellow star that produces its own light, heat, and energy. It is very, very hot and very bright. It also is by far the largest object in the solar system, taking up nearly 99% of the entire solar system's known matter. Because the Sun is so large, it is easily able to hold on to the rest of the system's matter, causing everything else to rotate or orbit around it. Therefore, the Sun is in the center of the solar system and everything else circles around it, including the 8 planets. The 8 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They are divided into 2 groups, the inner terrestrial planets and the outer gas giants. The 2 groups are divided by the asteroid belt. But before I get ahead of myself, let's move on to the inner terrestrial planets. The first planet is Mercury. It is the closest planet to the Sun, at only 36 million miles away, and also the smallest. One day on Mercury could take about 59 Earth days, but a year on Mercury only lasts about 88 Earth days. That means that it only takes Mercury 88 days to complete an entire orbit around the Sun. Mercury is a rocky planet and has a solid, cratered surface, much like the Earth's moon. Because of Mercury's closeness to the Sun, the planet has no real atmosphere. Mercury also has no moons and no rings. Temperatures on Mercury range from 800 degrees Fahrenheit during the day to negative 290 degrees at night. Therefore, it is quite certain that no life could live on Mercury, and no evidence has ever been found to suggest any. The second planet is Venus. Venus is only about 67 million miles away from the Sun. One day on Venus lasts as long as 243 Earth days. Venus makes a complete orbit around the Sun in only 225 Earth days. Venus is a rocky planet and the surface is a cratered and volcanic landscape. Venus's thick and toxic atmosphere is made up mostly of carbon dioxide and nitrogen with clouds of sulfuric acid. Venus has no moons and no rings. The planet's extreme high temperatures of almost 900 degrees Fahrenheit makes it seem an unlikely place for life. A strange fact about Venus is that it spins backwards when compared to the other planets. This means that the Sun rises in the west and sets in the east. The third planet in the solar system is the Earth. It is about 93 million miles away from the Sun. One day on Earth takes about 24 hours, and 1 year on Earth is about 365 days. Earth is a rocky planet with a solid and dynamic surface of mountains, valleys, canyons, plains, and so much more. What makes Earth different from the other terrestrial planets is that it is also an ocean planet. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. The Earth's atmosphere is made up of nitrogen, oxygen, and other ingredients that make the perfect balance for life to exist. Many planets have atmospheres, but only Earth is breathable. Earth's atmosphere also protects us from meteors, UV rays, and other harmful effects coming in from the solar system. Earth has 1 moon and no rings. Earth's condition and location makes it the perfect place for life. Mars is the 4th planet of the solar system and last of the inner terrestrial planets. Mars orbits the Sun at a distance of about 142 million miles. One day on Mars takes just a little over 24 hours, while 1 year on Mars takes 687 Earth days. Mars is a rocky planet and is called the red planet because iron minerals in the soil rust, causing the soil and the dusty atmosphere to look red. Mars' solid surface has been altered by volcanoes, impacts, and weather effects such as dust storms. Mars has a thin atmosphere made up mostly of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and argon, and it is this thin atmosphere that causes the temperature to range from negative 195 degrees Fahrenheit to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Mars also has 2 moons. More than 40 spacecraft have been launched for Mars, from flybys and orbiters to rovers and landers that touched the surface. At this time in the planet's history, Mars' surface cannot support life as we know it, but key science is to determine Mars' past and future potential for life. Past Mars is the asteroid belt. Asteroids are small bodies composed mainly of rocky and metallic minerals, with some ice. The asteroid belt occupies the orbit between Mars and Jupiter. It is thought to be the remnants of the solar system's formation that failed to combine because of the gravitational interference of Jupiter. Asteroids range in sizes from hundreds of miles across to the size of a speck of dust. All asteroids except the largest are classified as small solar system bodies. Though asteroid belt contains millions of objects, it is sparsely populated. Spacecraft routinely pass through without incident. The fifth planet in the solar system is Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system and orbits the Sun at a distance of about 484 million miles away. One day on Jupiter takes about 10 Earth hours. Jupiter makes one complete orbit around the Sun every 11.8 Earth years. Jupiter is a gas giant planet and therefore does not have a solid surface. However, it has been suggested that Jupiter has an inner solid core, about the size of the Earth. Jupiter's atmosphere is made up mostly of hydrogen and helium, and Jupiter has an average temperature of negative 234 degrees Fahrenheit. Jupiter has a total of 67 moons, and has a faint ring system around it. Jupiter cannot support life as we know it. However, some of Jupiter's moons have oceans underneath their crust that might support life. One interesting thing about Jupiter is its Great Red Spot, which is a gigantic storm about the size of 2 or 3 Earths that has been raging for hundreds of years. The sixth planet that orbits our Sun is Saturn. Saturn is 886 million miles away from the Sun. One day on Saturn takes about 10.7 hours, and it makes a complete orbit around the Sun in 29 Earth years. Saturn is a gas giant planet and does not have a solid surface. Like Jupiter, Saturn's atmosphere is made up mostly of hydrogen and helium, and this causes the planet to have an average temperature of negative 288 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturn has 53 known moons. Saturn also has the most spectacular ring system of all of our solar system's planets. There are 7 rings with several gaps and divisions between them, each made out of small ice and rock particles. Saturn cannot support life as we know it. However, some of Saturn's moons have conditions that might support life. The seventh planet is Uranus. Uranus orbits the Sun at a distance of about 1.8 billion miles. One day on Uranus takes about 17 hours, and the planet makes one complete orbit around the Sun in about 84 Earth years. Uranus is also a gas giant and does not have a solid surface. The bulk of the mass of Uranus is made up of dense fluid of icy materials like water, methane, and ammonia above a small rocky core. Uranus has an atmosphere which is mostly made up of hydrogen and helium, with a small amount of methane. Uranus has 27 moons, and also a faint ring system that varies between narrow and dark rings and brightly colored rings. It is the lightest of all the gas giants and also the coldest of all the planets. Unlike any other planet, Uranus rotates on its side, which means it spins horizontally. The eighth and last planet in the solar system is Neptune. Neptune orbits our Sun at a distance of about 2.8 billion miles away. One day on Neptune takes about 16 hours. Neptune makes a complete orbit around the Sun in about 165 Earth years. Like the other gas giants, Neptune does not have a solid surface. Neptune is mostly made up of a very thick, very hot combination of water, ammonia, and methane over a possibly heavier Earth-sized solid core. Neptune's atmosphere is made up mostly of hydrogen, helium, and methane. Neptune has 13 moons. Neptune also has 6 rings. However, the planet cannot support life as we know it. This big blue planet concludes our lesson for the day.